What's up, peeps? I'm transforming a small cardboard box into a sturdy faux wood grain napkin holder. That's right, this is going to be a fast and easy craft project. And to be honest, I can't wait to make something that we desperately need in our house. Like I said, I started with this small cardboard box. It was actually the perfect size to fit my napkins. Your mileage may vary. I used a Sharpie and I made some general marks for the size of the napkin on both the front and the sides of the box. Spent a few minutes cleaning any loose shipping tape and stickers off of the box surface. Made sure everything lined up evenly. Then I used masking tape to seal up that opening. I used tape all the way up and across the measured line because I really want that tape to give a bit of rigidity for when I cut the box down to size. Which I did using a brand new X-Acto blade and my level, that way I could get as straight a line as possible. With the rough shape cut, I tested again with a napkin. Good to go. To make sure nothing went off level, I taped the edge of the box from the front face to the bottom. Measured up and made marks for cutting. And I made some marks that were a bit lower on the sides. I just want to give it a little bit of interest once the piece is complete. I didn't want just a plain old rectangular box. Again, with my level, I connected those marks at an angle using my Sharpie marker. And I finished the line across the side to the back. Then I went and repeated all those same steps for the other side. Then, using my level and X-Acto, I cut out the shape, making sure to leave a slight bit of cardboard at the back along the upper part of the side. I want that to also give a bit more rigidity to the piece once it's fully coated. Plus, that'll help the napkins to kind of like nestle into the holder without flopping around.
A cup of coffee in the morning and I get the paper. I check the headlines and decide that I am bored. I check my email and I decide to answer later. Another cup of coffee and I drag myself to work. My life is grounded in a firm routine of coffee, sleep and work. I am not boring, I just stick to what I know. I'm sitting there at work and I realized I forgot to wake up. I can't be.
After checking for level, I evened off the top edge.
I go upstairs and get myself another cup of coffee. I get downstairs and then I spill it on the floor. Well, my life is grounded in a firm routine of coffee, sleep and work. I am not boring, I just stick to what I know.
Then I used masking tape around all of the rough, open edges to seal everything up. That didn't really take very long, just a couple of minutes. And I also didn't use much masking tape. But the tape smoothed and sealed things up beautifully. I did all of the edges and corners, including on the inside and the angled edges, but I did everything other than this off camera. And then it was ready for decoupage. I got my silicone craft mat and strips of packing paper ready to go. With some Mod Podge mat mixed up to a 2-to-1 ratio of Podge to water, I started attaching those strips. So over on my other channel, I recently created a cabinet out of cardboard, one for our bathroom, and I went into more detail about this upcycled craft material that I'm using in that video. I will leave a link to that at the end of this video and also down in the description box if you want to check it out. I completed one layer of decoupage on the entire piece, inside and out. That took me about 25 minutes, but here's a montage so you get the full effect in just 43 seconds. I left everything to dry overnight. I wanted to further protect and beef up this cardboard napkin holder, so I added a generous layer of joint compound to the entire outside. I used the pre-mixed all-purpose compound with the green lid because it's what I had on hand. And I applied it using a Japan scraper, but any putty knife would do. Then I came in with a disposable chip brush and I dragged through the wet compound to create graining lines. Since I didn't go too thick with the compound, I avoided cracking, but it was taking forever to dry in my humid area, so I used a hairdryer on the warm setting, and that helped for sure. Doing this took a while, and the hairdryer actually got kinda heavy, so I just left it to dry the rest of the way on its own overnight. So you will notice these straws inside the napkin holder. I put those in there while it was drying to help avoid any contracting from the cardboard or the paper. Sometimes with decoupage, things can like pull back when it dries, so I didn't want to take that chance because I was already on the edge of size for my napkins to even fit. So I put these straws in there and it totally worked like a charm. After lightly sanding with a 220 grit and wiping down with a barely damp rag, the piece was ready for paint. I'm using a 1.5 inch angled putty and the same Franken paint that I used on the bathroom cabinet that I mentioned earlier. This is a mix of chalk, acrylic, and latex paints. I have no idea of the ratios, but this will allow for a really nice adhesion of my gel stain. Plus, it's also a great base color for the faux wood grain I'm gonna pull. Hot tip, use masking tape to remove paint that's spilled on things like silicone mats and plastic paint trays. Works like a charm, no water required. Then I could finally do the faux. I've made many videos on my different faux wood grain techniques in the past, so I won't go into all of that here. But I'll leave links to a bunch of my videos down in the description so you can check those out for more info. Once the rest of this was dry, I used this Hello Hobby chalk paint in the color Cafe Noir. It's super watered down, probably about a 4:1 ratio of water to paint. And I used that to do the base and the rest of the inside. This fully dried for a couple of days, and then my final step was to apply 2 coats of polyacrylic in a clear matte finish. I left the napkin holder to cure for a full weekend, but then we were finally able to use it. No. Masking tape works like... I wanted something to keep it from, So they really didn't impact anything, and this is like 36 seconds, way too long. Let's start over. Hot tip, masking tip. Okay.